Hey guys, it's Brad from Are We There Yet? Okay, I promise this is the last video on this truck, but I had to give you guys kind of a final update on the 2021 Ford F-150 Powerboost that I've had a nightmare situation with since September 10th of 2021. Over the last several months, as you guys know, I've done several videos about issues I've had with the truck, about issues I had with the dealership, and about issues I've had with Ford customer service and just their inability and really lack of attention to detail and truly like their lack of like they just don't they honestly they just don't give a crap. And so to be honest with you, I wanted to make a video to kind of help educate everyone else about some of the things I've been going on that I've been going through over the past 6 months or so. So I bought my truck from Titus Will Ford in Tacoma, September 10th of 2021. Titus Will had been a great dealership in the past. I'd actually bought multiple vehicles from them. This was not my first, but I didn't have a chance to test drive the vehicle before I took delivery. The salesman was super busy. The sales manager really could care less, and the dealership was just kind of like, hey, let's get you into finance, sign the paperwork, and whatever. So I kind of went through the paperwork, pencil whipped it, and out the door I went. I didn't get a walkthrough in the truck. I didn't get a chance to test drive it at all. And as I pulled out of the dealership, this is God's honest truth. Like, it was less than a half mile to the freeway. The truck had 75 miles on it when I took delivery of it, which I thought was really strange considering I had ordered the vehicle. It did sit in Ice Mountain for 6.5 months, but it had, like I said, 75 miles, 74, 75 miles, something like that, when the day I took delivery of it, which is really kind of bizarre. I mean, that's a lot of miles for a brand new truck that was ordered. But anyway, to kind of make the story shorter, this truck started having malfunctions before I even got to the freeway. So Titus Will Ford in Tacoma is right next to Interstate 5, and it's next to a Costco. It's basically you go around one corner, turn left, and turn right, and you're on the freeway. It's literally, like I said, less than a half mile. About a 30-minute drive to my house. And between the dealership and my house, the truck had probably 15 or 20 electrical issues. Adaptive cruise wasn't working. The stereo system wasn't working. Android Auto wasn't working. The navigation system wasn't working. It was the main speedometer display was kind of glitching, and the speedometer and the tachometer weren't working correctly. So I immediately text messaged and called the dealership and text my salesman, and basically kind of got the, well, bring it in next time you're here, we'll take a look at it sort of attitude. So this video is basically kind of a breakdown of what's happened over the past several months. I'm going to have some links down below into documents that I've scanned and uploaded into like a Google Drive folder or something like that I can share with you guys. But within 2 weeks, the truck had, on my Ford Pass app, 27 pages of error codes, PCM codes, APIM codes, navigation system issues, front radar system not working correct. And as I've documented in prior videos, the truck actually had multiple times in the early days, and a couple of times just this last week, had the cruise control set. And as I've mentioned in prior videos, the truck does have adaptive cruise. So that basically means that the truck will adjust its speed based on the speed limit signs in the area you're in to the current speed. So if you go from a 60-mile-an-hour zone to a 70-mile-an-hour zone, the truck will speed up to 70, or you can have it have a tolerance. So if you go into a 60-mile-an-hour zone or 75 or 80-mile-an-hour zone, the truck will go to a minimum of that speed plus or minus whatever you choose. So I always have it +5. So if it's a 70-mile-an-hour zone, I set the adaptive cruise to go to 75, or 60. I set it to go to 65. But multiple times in the past 6 months, the truck will be on the freeway or back road, it doesn't really matter, in an area where the speed limit's not changing, And most recently, it happened again on the freeway where I was coming home from Tacoma in a 60-mile-an-hour zone and had it set at 65, and the truck literally dynamites the brakes by itself and slows down to like 25 to 35 miles an hour. Usually I turn off the cruise and floor it again to kind of get back up to speed, but it did this a couple times early on. I took it to the dealership. They obviously couldn't recreate the issue, so they were like, oh, well, we're going to do a software update. Funny thing is, software updates never work. The truck has had multiple issues with Android Auto. Today, I was with an employee of mine in the truck, and we were listening to Pandora, and Pandora just stopped working. So I switched over to another service. I think it was Spotify. Started listening to music with Spotify, and then we started getting a mix of Pandora and Spotify playing at the same time. So finally, I had to shut off the Wi-Fi, shut off the Bluetooth, close Pandora, close Spotify, restart everything, and it did it again. So those are a couple of issues. One of the other issues is too, like I started using breadcrumbs for some of the trails I was on the map. I was using breadcrumbs to kind of show where I was going because I was going to clients' houses and doing a lot of estimates and that kind of stuff, and it was easier to kind of find my way back. But I realized the breadcrumb thing on the map, if you kind of follow the same route every day, becomes kind of clutter. So I turned the breadcrumbs off about a month and a half ago. But I noticed last week that it's randomly tracking and leaving breadcrumbs, even though the breadcrumb option in the navigation settings is turned off. So those are a few of the minor electrical issues. I'm sorry, the video's moving around a little bit, but I'm trying to get this done tonight so I can get this out and make everybody, including Ford, aware of what's going on. So those are a couple of the little issues. I was down in Moab. I drove the truck to Moab about a month ago or so, and I was out doing. I wouldn't say I was four-wheeling. I happened to be in four-wheel drive in a sandy section of the trail. It wasn't deep. I didn't really need to be in four-wheel drive, and I happened to reach down and put it into four high because there was a section of rock coming up, and it was not steep or anything like that. But I just kind of wanted to be prepared. And have the transfer case in four-wheel drive. So I reached down, put it in four-wheel drive, pushed the button. It engaged into four-wheel drive like it had done multiple times before then. And as soon as I got to the rocks and got on the gas, I heard a loud metallic like pop, like a tooth broke in the transfer case. And I stopped, tried to put the truck in park. And the gear selector went into park, and then it would not disengage. The P light next to the shifter was flashing on and off about this fast. I could not get the truck out of park. I stopped it, turned the motor off, opened the door, got back in, and turned it back on, and the P light was still flashing. The truck was stuck in park. I wasn't under load. I looked on the four-wheel drive display on the dashboard, and I was like at a 4% incline. So I was going uphill, and I was on a little bit of a rock, probably like a 4-inch rock on the driver's side front wheel. But the truck would not come out of park, and it was just flashing. So turned it off again, got out of the truck, and at this point I'm just livid because I'm up in the middle of nowhere in Moab. And I'm thinking this is going to be an expensive tow bill, and I don't want to deal with any more crap with this truck. So I waited a few minutes, got back in, put my foot on the brake pedal, hit the power button, and was able to get it out of park. Everything kind of all of a sudden magically functioned normal. So I immediately shifted into two-wheel drive, turn around in the middle of the trail, and head back towards Moab. And about halfway down the trail, I'm like, I'm going to put it in four-wheel drive again just to see what was going on. I put it in four-wheel drive, and as soon as I turned the steering wheel to the passenger side about 5 degrees, you started getting this loud clank, 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 like the transfer case was missing a tooth in one of the gears. And I, at this point, had not driven the truck off-road at all. I mean, I've been up in the snow a little bit. I had four-wheel auto engaged several times. I'd had the slippery and snow and sand button pushed a few times, and everything had worked fine. So to kind of like preface this a little bit, now we're running into major issues with the mechanical part of it. Prior to this, the truck had been having issues with mileage, and I will say that right now that the truck's city and highway EPA estimated mileage numbers are 24 city, 24 highway. So what that means in general is that you can expect to get 24 city or 24 highway. Uh, I will tell you right now, and I have the screenshots to prove it, which I'll also attach, maybe put cards in the video. But uh, I just, like I said a minute ago, I went to Moab. I drove the truck down about a month ago. I got the mileage numbers on the way down, and I got the mileage numbers on the way back. And the weird thing was that they were different, but not in a good way. So on the way down, I averaged about 15.2 miles per gallon. The exact same trip, exact same route, run in reverse about a week later, I literally got over an 895-mile road trip. I got 12.4 miles per gallon in a truck that's supposed to get 24. Now, I will be honest, the route was, 70 in some sections in Eastern Oregon, or excuse me, Eastern Idaho and Utah was 80-mile-an-hour speed zones, but not for a substantial period of time. But I also know people that have that same truck that are getting 22 to 26 at 75 plus miles an hour. I'm getting 12.4. And on the good side, 15.5, 15.7. But I have the trip 2 odometer set right now, set for I haven't reset it for the last 6,000 miles. I'm averaging 15.1 miles per gallon over the last 6,000 miles. I've had many videos done about this truck over the past couple months, and I've also mentioned to everybody that's mentioned it in comments or sent me messages privately. I do have a Fox 2.0 leveling kit on the truck, so the front end's up, an inch and a half, 2 inches at most. I did put aftermarket tires on it. I went with the BFG KO2s. But they are literally, I measured them. I still have the original wheels and tires from the truck. And I measured those next to the ones I've got on the truck now. And there's literally a half an inch of difference in total circumference. So, in total height of the wheels, tires. So for those of you that have said that it's because the aftermarket wheels and tires are lift kit, it's negligible. A half an inch isn't going to make a difference of more than, a tenth of a mile per gallon. But the wheels and tires I put on are actually 6 pounds per corner less than the stock wheels and tires, because the stock wheels and tires are a little bit thicker. The aluminums, the ones I have on there now, as far as the wheels are concerned, there's a lot more spokes and a lot less aluminum. So they're actually, like I said, 6 pounds per wheel and tire lighter per corner. So it's a figure that's 24 pounds total less rotational mass essentially going on when you're driving. So, and the leveling kit brings the front of the truck up, maybe 2 inches, not even that, probably an inch and a half to inch and 3/4 at most. But the fact of the matter is, like I've had multiple people mention on the videos and make comments on my videos where bigger tires and lift kit and all that kind of stuff. Well, that's great. That may affect my mileage on the freeway, but why am I not getting 24 miles in the city per gallon? So for those of you that are engineers and all that kind of stuff, you don't really run into significant degradations of your MPG until you're above 50 miles an hour. So with this truck, I can run it all day around my house and around where I live at 35 miles an hour and 35, 40, even 45 miles an hour, where the wind and the aerodynamics of the truck really don't affect the fuel mileage at all. And I'm lucky if I get 15 and a half or 16, maybe 17 if I'm in eco mode and driving like Miss Daisy. So, we've got multiple electrical issues, absolutely awful fuel mileage. I mean, literally half of what is EPA registered at. Navigation system issues, APIM system issues, the primary control, PCM primary control module problems, front radar sensors not working, the driver's side mirror, when you fold it in, it won't fold back out. I've had that in the dealership twice. The onboard generator that was in the truck, malfunctions about 50% of the time. It'll just turn off on its own, and sometimes doesn't turn on at all. I have the twin panel moonroof in the truck, and actually on the trip down to Moab, driving back, I just left Salt Lake City and I was heading north, filled up with gas. I'm on the freeway doing about 70 miles an hour, and I had the sunroof open because it was about 75 degrees when I was down there a couple weeks ago. And the phone rang, so I went to close. The sunroof wasn't open all the way. It wasn't slid open. It was just tilted. And I went to hit the button to close the sunroof again, and it wouldn't close. So it was stuck in the open tilt position. It would not close unless I slowed down. I got off the freeway to get to some quieter space and pull into a gas station because the wind noise from the sunroof being stuck open made it so I couldn't hear the conversation very well. And when I got below about 35, then the sunroof would close. Now that does that anytime I open it. If I crack it and I'm above 35 miles an hour, the sunroof will not close. If I slide it open all the way, it'll reclose just fine, but it will not come back down. It kind of gets about a quarter of the way and then it goes back up. What else have we got for issues? Transfer case, navigation, sunroof, fuel mileage, APM, PCM. God, there's so many things. It's ridiculous. Oh, the stereo. So I paid for the B&O Unleashed system. Save your money, don't do it. The worst sound quality. I had a 2018 F150 Lariat with the higher end system. Like I said, it's 2018. I bought it new from Titus Will Ford in Tacoma. Far better sound system. The Unleashed system is a complete waste of money. The speakers in the headrest, there's speakers in each of the headrests. I think there's 2 speakers in each headrest, so the driver's front and the passenger front. And there's speakers directly above your head in the roof liner too, even with the sunroof. But you cannot hear the sound unless you turn and put your ear up against the headrest, or you kind of lean up and put your ear up against the headrest. So save your money. Don't get the Unleashed sound system. It's a complete waste of time. But I will say, when you do get it turned up and you kind of get everything balanced out just right, it sounds decent, but I have a ton of rattling coming from the door panels and the seat and the plastic that's in and around the back seat, kind of on the passenger side. The dealership, I've told them about that. They haven't done anything about that either. So I will say that the truck has been, this is one of the biggest things. The truck's been to the dealership, not just Tacoma, but it's been to their Lakewood store as well. Titus Will owns a Lakewood Ford dealership as well. And it has been to Mullinex Ford in Olympia, which is closer to where I live. They've done 6 software updates to the truck. They have done multiple tests with the truck. And the last time that it was at Titus Will in Tacoma, which is where I purchased it, the general manager drove my truck for a week and put almost 700 miles on it and said, "Oh, I'm getting 19 miles per gallon and the truck's running just fine." But the day I got it back, I was getting 15, and it was all sorts of issues were happening. So the dealership put 650, almost 700 miles on my truck in the course of a week, and then gave it back to me after they did some software updates and said that they couldn't find any problems, which is complete crap, because as soon as I get in it, I'm not even out to the freeway again, and we're going down the same path. So I'm at the point now where Ford needs to take responsibility for this. I've also heard from multiple people. I have some friends on YouTube that have been super helpful. Krista Pickens at Buckle Up Buttercup has really helped me get in touch with some fantastic people on the YouTube network, and we're trying to get this resolved. But I've got an open case with Ford, and one of the things I want to tell everybody too about Titus Will is that Titus Will Ford in Tacoma did not track my service appointments correctly with the truck. So in Washington State, the lemon law is pretty clear. The vehicle has to be at the dealership 4 or more times in a 24-month period, or more than 30 days total worth of service work in that same first 24-month period, or have a safety related issue that could cause death or injury in order to qualify for the buyback, or excuse me, the lemon law program. The last time I took my vehicle into the dealership was the 7th time that has been to a dealership. Molinex, it's been twice. Once for just a kind of a quick software update, and another one, they had it for a few hours to see if they could test it and find out what was going on. The next time was Lakewood. And then the following, 4 times, it went to Titusville, Ford, and Tacoma, which is where I purchased the vehicle. It has been at their dealership 3 times for a week each. And then the last time it was there for over 3 weeks. So we're well past the 30-day mark. We're well past the 4-visit mark. But I will tell you this is something that I told the general manager multiple times and the service manager at Titusville, Ford, and Tacoma. They're not tracking the visits correctly. And the last time I took it in and dropped them off, they said that they only had record that the vehicle had been there 1 time. So you want to talk about how a dealership can really mess with you. If they don't track things correctly, Ford won't stand behind the product. And Ford goes by what the dealership says, not by what the client says. So luckily, I kept track of everything. And in my Ford Pass app, it shows the dates that the truck was at the dealership. And I can actually track it on the map. So I know, based on the map location, where it was, for how long it was there, and all that kind of stuff. But the dealership themselves did not track it correctly. I had that conversation with the GM, or excuse me, not the GM, but I had that conversation with the service manager and one of the customer service managers the last time I went to pick the truck up. And I'm like, this is completely unacceptable. So at this point, guys, I'll tell you right now, I've also heard, I have to go back a half a step. With the connections that I've made through YouTube, I have found out that there are multiple known issues with the Ford Powerboost. So I'm going to tell you right now, don't buy it. People I know with 2.7s and F150s, with regular 3.5s and F150s, are getting 6 to 8 miles per gallon better than I am without the hybrid system. I'm literally on a full tank of gas. I just filled up today. And I don't run cheap gas. I run Chevron, Texaco, Exxon, that kind of stuff. I don't ever run, crap gas. I don't go to like grocery store gas stations and that kind of stuff. Like I said, I'm getting 12 to 15 and a half at best. But I will say this, like, don't buy the Powerboost. It's not worth it. There's so many problems. There's so many electrical issues. It's an absolute train wreck of a vehicle. And if you guys want, go back and look at the prior videos. One of the things I'll ask too is that you guys like and subscribe, because this isn't going to be over. I'm going to fight until I lose my battle, but I'm not going to stop at this point. One of the other things too that I want to talk about with you guys, and I hope that somebody in the video kind of goes wild with this too, and send me questions, send me comments, whatever. I'll answer all of them as quickly as possible. But I spent almost $1,000 on this truck to get the Ford Blue Cruise Copilot 360 thing. And Ford promised a year and a half ago that they would have the software release for that feature. I spent $1,000 on the truck to have the hardware and software kind of pre-set up on the vehicle, and yet Ford still doesn't have the Blue Cruise. So I'm very interested in a class action lawsuit if anybody wants to join that with me. The fact that they've sold tens of thousands of these trucks with the Blue Cruise fee being added onto the sticker, but yet they haven't made it available to the consumers is complete crap. The amount of stuff that this truck has wrong is absolutely absurd. I mean, I've literally only touched on probably half of what I've actually had it in for service for, and at this point we're really, we make a little bit of progress here and there, but the software issues are out of control. Every day I get in the truck and there's some sort of new software problem. One of the other things I was going to say too, and I don't mean to keep babbling on, but a couple days ago, my daughter was with me going to an appointment, Everything was working fine. She got out of the truck and got in her car and drove off. I'm like halfway home, and all of a sudden the truck starts telling me that it can't connect with her phone. I'm like, well, she hasn't been in the truck for 10 minutes. So then I try to connect to my phone through Android Auto, and it flat won't connect. It says it can't find my Galaxy. So I shut off the Bluetooth, shut off the Wi-Fi, turn off the audio system, turn it back on, turn the Bluetooth back on, turn the Wi-Fi back on, and my phone will not connect with the truck. And there's a message on the screen that says, cannot connect with my daughter's iPhone. Now, she hasn't been in the truck for 10 minutes. She's 15 miles away at this point. So why would the truck be trying to communicate and connect with her phone still? Absolutely unreal. Later on that day, I got out of the truck, went in the store, came back out, started it up, and I got one of those error messages that says, please wait, in the circle spinning. That stayed on the screen for the next 25 minutes as I drove up to Tacoma. And I could not get it to go away. I turned the power button on and off. It wouldn't go away. I changed the temperature settings. I tried navigation stuff. I tried voice navigation. I tried everything I could, and it flat would not go away. So I'm going to say this as a consumer, as somebody who spent $72,000 on a truck. Do not buy the Ford F-150 Powerboost F1. You know, it's not worth it. You're not going to get the mileage that you are promised. I do know people that are getting 25 plus miles per gallon, even driving 70, 75 miles an hour. But there's so many software glitches with this truck, and Ford is not doing anything to make it right. I've reached out to Ford. I've reached out to my service department at the dealership. I've reached out to everybody under the moon, and they're just like, sorry. It's like I bought my 2018 that had the same lift kit, the same tires, everything was getting 19 plus miles per gallon. And now I'm getting 12 to 15 in a vehicle that's supposed to be 5 miles per gallon better than my 2018 F-150 with the 3.5 EcoBoost. So do yourself a favor. Don't do it. Don't use Titusville Ford in Tacoma, and don't trust Ford to stand behind a product that they should be standing behind. And I'll be honest with you, I'm a lifelong Ford person. I have a Bronco on order. I have a 2022 Badlands Sasquatch on order. And I'm honestly considering canceling the order because I've completely lost faith in Ford. And like I said, I've been a Ford owner since I was 16 years old. And this is probably my 9th Ford vehicle. And I'm telling you right now that the Bronco is supposed to be here any day. But between the ordering issues with the Bronco and the lack of communication from Ford, the breakdown in communication and the complete incompetency of Ford, and the lack of ability for me to get through to an engineer or somebody that deals with the software stuff and talk to them directly, it's shameful. And I know they have hundreds of thousands of clients and they don't want to talk to all of us. But when your vehicle slams on the brakes at 75 miles an hour on the freeway, when there's nothing going on, there's no vehicles in front of me, the speed limit didn't change, and it did cause a small accident back in October of last year. I had a log truck behind me that actually got sideways because it slammed. It saw me, my truck, all of a sudden slam on the brakes for no reason. He was behind me, and he slammed on the brakes, and his trailer got sideways. Luckily, he was empty, and I think he let off the brakes and kind of like regained control of the vehicle. But can you imagine what would have happened if he didn't? Or if he had hit me? And these are known issues, guys. I mean, these are things that Ford knows about, and they're just flat ignoring it. And the only way we get through to a company like Ford is by making videos like this go viral. So contact me, reach out. I'll send screenshots. I'm actually going to go through and add screenshots to this video so you guys can see I'm not full of crap. I mean, the videos are time and date stamped. The error messages are, I take pictures of my display all the time when there's problems, and all the time when I'm getting crappy fuel mileage and that kind of stuff. Don't do it. Don't buy a Powerboost. You're going to end up regretting it. I guarantee it. So, hey guys, I ran a little bit long here. I apologize for babbling on so long. Remember, thumbs up, like and subscribe. hit the bell icon so you get notified when the new video is coming out. This will be the last video I do on this truck until there's a resolution, either until Ford does the right thing and contacts me and gets this resolved, or until the dealership pulls their head out and gets things going, or until the vehicle is either bought back or we go through the lemon law process. But at this point, I'm almost to the point where I'm just willing to walk away from the loan, because I'm sick and tired of paying this kind of money for a truck that's, you know, providing a third of what it's designed to do. So, and fuel mileage wise, 50%. So anyway, guys, thanks again. I apologize for running so long. Like I said, like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification so you get notified, or the bell icon so you get notified when I post new videos. I'll have some, hopefully a new Bronco video coming out here soon. I'm supposed to take delivery, well, Ford said I was supposed to have it 3 weeks ago, but I just checked my email 5 minutes ago and there's no updates. Shocking. But I do have some new stuff going on the CRF 450 as well. And I'm also going to be doing some rides on the Indian here in the next couple weeks as well, too. So thanks, guys, for your attention. I apologize I rambled on for so long. Hopefully it wasn't that bad. But like I said, tell everybody you know. Send me comments and ask me any questions you want, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thanks, guys.